Welcome back to Finnegan's Garage. Thanks for hanging out. Do me a favor, like and subscribe to this video. This entire series this week is brought to you by Wire Care, my favorite company for wiring and plumbing your hot rod. And this hot rod truck is going to move under its own power 5 days from now. That's right. We are going to attempt to make my 1967 Chevy C10 finally roadworthy after years of neglect, abuse, and 3 or 4 different header builds, which you've seen here on the channel. This is Andrew Calkins. This is Colin Seaburn, Michael Wayne Cotton. Behind the camera, David Newbern. We are all going to gang up on this truck and try to drive it to North Carolina on Sunday so that we can go work on the Cadillac and hang out with the dudes at MRC Fab. We are driving this. Just might be on a trailer to North Carolina on Sunday. All right, here we go. Wish us luck. All right, problem number 1. The engine has to move. We showed you how the front accessories on our Chevrolet Performance LT4 weren't gonna work with our MRC Fab front clip. The big problem was the AC compressor was pointing directly at the frame rail. We had no power steering, and so as soon as I dropped that video, I found out that Holley makes a front engine accessory kit for the LT4 and LT5 that moves everything for you. Now the alternator went from here to here, AC compressor's here, and we have a hydraulic power steering pump, which is awesome. The problem is, with this front clip, the AC compressor is essentially sitting on the control arm. That's not the problem with the kit, that's just the way our chassis was set up. So we need to address that, and I think what we're gonna do is build new motor mounts that will lift the motor up about 1/8 of an inch, because that's really all we need to clear there. Colin fell in love with the kit because it actually goes together real easily and apparently works.
The kit is actually super solid. Holley did a great job on the layout and the design of this. It takes everything and goes in and goes up a little bit. So rack clearance, frame clearance becomes basically a non-issue unless you're trying to drop your truck on hydraulics. That'd be you. But it's all OE level stuff. You get to reuse the original water pump or a GM water pump that rotates the opposite direction in this case. OE compressor, OE alternator, everything's nice and tight. It's actually much nicer than the accessory drives that comes on the LT4. If you're putting it in a hot rod, I really recommend it. I'm actually kind of a fan of the kit. The biggest issue we ran into is that right here where the compressor lands, we ended up with about 1 millimeter of clearance. You can barely see it in there.
It's a paper slipper.
It's not enough. So we're gonna have to raise it up a little bit. But other than that, it went together perfect. I really recommend it.
Yeah, what I envisioned happening was roll up to the spot, drop the truck flat on the ground, and when the control arm comes up, it hits this and then launches this through the fender of the truck into some poor lady who just happens to be walking by and really doesn't care that my C10 lays flat on the ground on 20s. She doesn't. And I felt bad about that, so we're gonna raise the motor up and make sure, you know, her face stays intact, because we like people. Colin is having to shut off 60% of his brain power to get on our level to work with us. But then we just caught him sharpieing the Holley engine accessory set up there.
And it's going to be a different color.
We're going to let that slide. Because it's on there and it clears. See that?
For the record, I actually didn't do that. I just caught it.
That's neither here nor there. He was the one with the Sharpie, which means...
He did it.
Yeah.
Andrew was the guy with the vertical bandsaw who made the spacer plates for our motor mounts, and now look
Look at all the clearance.
Yeah.
Dude.
We could pretty much jump this truck now.
Oh, yeah. You could put at least $3 bills in there. Yeah. It'll be fine.
So that means we're moving on. Now we build transmission cross member, and then exhaust system, and then by the end of the day, cab on the truck, hopefully.
Can I use some like threaded rod to mount anything and then cover it with heat shrink?
Yeah.
The Bluetooth drive shaft?
No, that's the wrong show, dude. All right.
All day.
FedEx. When it absolutely positively needs to get there, no matter what condition it was sent in, we got you. Wow. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine.
So our Fiat front end accessory drive is actually partially done. We're not totally done. We got the accessory part of it done, but you'll notice no blower belt, no power steering. A couple reasons. Number one, the supercharger's still off. Number two, we're waiting for the reservoir for the power steering because you have to actually put the hose on the pump before you put this on the block. Not a big deal. Once we get that sorted, we fixed all of our clearance issues with the air conditioner, and then we're actually going to start on some wiring, and then hopefully tomorrow we'll have the correct Holley harness for this GM engine, which turned out to be an early LT4. There's a variation based on the fuel pressure in the back. The sensor's a little different, so we'll have the right part tomorrow, but you should see a bunch of wires tomorrow and hopefully another belt.
Dave's been working on fuel lines and hydraulic lines, right? No. What have you been working on?
I've just been helping you, bud.
Dave's working on hydraulic lines for this HydroShock setup. So he told me to bend hard line to go to each setup to the hydraulics itself. Whenever you got to bend lines, try to find some real thin wire, and you can actually make a template with it all. Then instead of trying to bend it all that way, you could actually make your template, go into it and bend it out that way and then put it in. Because this actually fit. Welding rod. Huh? Welding rod. A lot of people ain't got welding rod. Use anything you got that's like this. Real people use this. Finnegan uses welding rod.
Welding rod.
This is welding rod, but I'm gonna use, you can use anything you want to use. Just use it as a template. It's easier.
You'll notice the smart wire is here. This is a super cool system from a company called Raceback. It's actually Holley's main deal now. So how to wire this truck, right? You've got electronic fuel injection, it's direct injection, no less. It's got a sequential. It's got hydraulic, some sort of form of hydraulic suspension, electronic pumps in the back. It's got, plus all the functions of the truck. You got headlights, turn signals, brake lights, air conditioning, whatever else Mike wants to do. He probably wants cup holders and missile launchers, right? So to keep this kind of simple, this system actually is kind of, it's one of my favorite things. So you provide basically just the one big power lug to it, roughly 125 amps of load, and then you plug in and it gives you the whole vehicle, the horn, the headlights, everything. Now the question becomes, what do you isolate into what portion? So we're gonna let the race pack do the vehicle, and we're gonna let the Holley do the Holley function. So fuel, spark, variable valve timing, all that stuff is gonna be done by the Holley. And while the Holley EFI system is way more capable than just that, we're only gonna have it do the engine and its dashboard. This SmartWire system will do all the functions of the truck and the hydraulics suspension of the truck. And I'm actually going to go over that with you guys tomorrow and show you how we isolated it. But we're just trying to keep it simple and let the two systems do their jobs at best.
You'll notice the cab is not on the truck. That's okay. Look at all we got done. There are 3/4, maybe even 7/8 of an exhaust system here. Sure, it's only 50% welded, but that's 90% done in my book. All the hard lines? No, those are not all done. There are, I'd say 70% of the front hydro shocks are plumbed, but not all the way. So
It's 80%.
we're like 92% on fluid containment here. The front accessories are on, but given how things are going, they'll probably come back off tomorrow. For what reason? I don't know.
Because that's a 93%.
We don't have the battery cables. We don't have any of the fittings to plumb most of this stuff. We're fine. It's technically not even Tuesday yet. I think we've got like 5 more minutes till it's Tuesday. But we're gonna sleep now because we're in such good shape that we can sleep today. Later on this week, we might not sleep at all, but today we're sleeping.
We're not doing that bad though.
Oh no, it's great. The math says we're fine.
What math are you on?
That's that new math. Common Core says go to bed, sleep now, because later on you won't get to. What's the square root of screwed? That's us. Going to bed anyway. Cotton will do something and we'll put the cab on the truck. I don't know. You over there swiping left or right? What's going on?
Bro,
What?
I'm checking something real quick.
Yeah, you checking something, all right.
I'm impressed that you got microphones.
Well, we listened to the people who complained for 3 years about the audio. We finally started wearing the microphones.
Cotton, how you doing? Can you turn your mic off, please?
Hey, turn it off.